All right, so tonight I would like to tell you about the process of creating the video and the story for the song called Ritual, which we released in May and shot the video for in April 2019. When Mateusz was coming up with the song, we already knew it was supposed to be about voodoo. We were going back and forth in our messages between ideas, and we thought that voodoo is the way to go. Voodoo practices were not uncommon among the pirates of the golden age of piracy, so we somehow wanted to touch on that subject as well, because it's really cool. I was left with a difficult task to come up with a story that would be somehow tied to the story from the Black Vengeance album, and yet also feature voodoo, and the story and the whole song was from the very beginning written with a cinematic video in mind. We knew that we wanted to show a story in our video. We wanted to make it sort of like a little movie that will keep people entertained and hooked, and something that even we ourselves will be willing to return to from time to time and watch again and again. So we decided to extend on the story from the song called Spilling Guts, where the main protagonist of the album talks to a tavern wench and he literally spills his guts. He tells her what his plan is, and she then goes on to tell this to Blackbeard and to Israel Hands, who was at the time Blackbeard's right hand. We decided we want to make the song about the reward that the girl gets for telling on the protagonist of the main story. So what you see, the ritual that you see in the video, is her being sacrificed to the voodoo gods to appease them so that they will grant success in Blackbeard's and his crew future endeavors. That's why in the video you ultimately see a girl sacrificed by the cultist and his helpers in order to appease the voodoo gods. The process of recording the video was also a challenging task, because we knew we had to shoot it in Poland, and it's really difficult to make Poland look like the Caribbean. What we did is we decided to shoot the story in a cave, because caves are more or less the same all over the world. It's just you know, hollow space between rocks. It was really cold, by the way, because we shot it in early April. At night the temperatures were around 10 degrees Celsius. So yeah, that was a challenge to keep our talent Dorota warm during the shooting process, and also the rest of the actors and the crew. We were constantly being given cups of hot tea and trying to eat something warm. We had a very powerful industrial heater turned on constantly and blowing hot air on the main, you know, the main sort of like set where we were shooting, and it was a really difficult and challenging task, I have to tell this, but everyone came through brilliantly. We've also asked our friends from Art Color Ballet for help. It's a group that does amazing things. We saw their portfolio online, and we decided to contact them and ask for help because they're just brilliant. They're nothing short of amazing. They deserve the highest praise because they have prepared amazing costumes for Kendall, who played the shaman in the video. They've also created costumes for themselves. They came up with really cool body painting. They've helped us with choreography. They've brought their own props like skulls and totems and stuff like this to make the whole set even more believable and more realistic. And then when it turned out that we will be shooting longer than previously agreed upon, they had no problems staying longer, and they helped out as much as they could. They deserve nothing but praise. Also, high praise should go to Dorota, who braved the cold. Even though we had an industrial heater on her at all times, it was still really cold out there, and she was really brave. She allowed us to do whatever crazy shit we came up with and we wanted to. She had no problems with that, all for, you know, to achieve the best final artistic result. And then that's just amazing. She was very patient, and she allowed us to abuse her in many ways during the shooting of the video. You can clearly tell that watching the video that not everything we did was very comfortable, and we weren't always very gentle and nice, but she survived it all, and we'd like to thank her for that as well. And the rest of the crew, everybody was just amazing. I have to say, it was the biggest and most ambitious production I've ever shot in my life, and I know it doesn't mean much, but it still was a lot of work, and everybody just came through shining. I absolutely loved the experience, even though it was very grueling at times. Mainly because of the location. For our first day of shooting, where we shot the band, we decided upon a dead part of a forest in Katowice, where I live. It's just a part where the forest is flooded, and there are those dead tree trunks just coming right out of the water. We shot there at night. We lit everything with red lights and just shot the band there. And then on the second day we went to Jasna cave, Jaskinia Jasna, which translates to bright cave in English, and we've shot the whole story there. It was also very challenging because it's impossible to get to that cave with a car. So we had to haul everything on our own backs, including the power generator, which was really heavy, the tents, so that we could have a production tent. Everything was hauled there by us, food, water. So it was a challenging task, but we all came through with shining colors. And yeah, I have to say that Agata was amazing with her snakes. She told us that the snakes wouldn't survive in the cold too long. The snakes turned out to be quite small ones, which is alright. We just had to shoot them in a different way, use the macro lenses to make the snake look huge and menacing, even though it was a really small danger noodle. Just a lot of funny things. My brother, who played once again the role of Blackbeard, just like he did in the video for the song called Rise to Power. He was hungry and tired, working with us all day. So when we finally, at the end of the night, started shooting his parts with Blackbeard, he was so pissed himself that, you know, it wasn't hard for him to act like a really menacing, tough guy, and it also turned out brilliantly. So lots of happy accidents that turned out for this great result, and I really hope you enjoyed the video and you like it.